We finally got to see the first episode of Alchemy of Souls 2. Fans were eager for the big day to arrive. Although the production presented many previews, posters, and photos of what was going to be presented in this episode, we saw other things that we did not expect. This episode 1 was a lot of information, and I know that some details may have been a bit confusing. But it is expected that in the next episodes we will be able to be clearer about some concepts. But for now there is nothing left to do but enjoy this episode 1, which was amazing. That's why today I'm going to talk about details you didn't know about episode 1. But first, remember to subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell to be among the first to see our content. One of the things that surprised a lot in this episode are the new powers that Jang Wook has thanks to the Ice Stone. When he went to eliminate the 2 soul shifters seen in this episode, you can see how he saw each one's past. With the man, he realized that he had exchanged his body for the body of his son, and with the woman, he realized that she had been a soul shifter for a long time. In a way, Jang Wook through the Ice Stone could see their souls, and how they went into the void, or in other words, died. Now let's explain Choyeon and Dan-gu's relationship. Many of us thought that despite what happened with their wedding, they stayed together, but it was not so. After Naksu and Mudok's body killed Choyeon's father, everything changed between them. She blames him for not killing Naksu, and that's why her father died. After that they never saw each other again, until the day a soul shifter entered Jinyeon. Here we can see how they still love each other, but because of the things that happened she can't forgive him and they can't be together. Let's talk about Park Jin and Maid Kim. They currently still love each other, but they are not together because Maid Kim is very worried about Jang Wook because he is in a crisis because of what happened 3 years ago with Naksu. Park Jin moved away from everything and lives quietly in the countryside, and of course he is retired. Why did Yul come back? First, he came back because he was going to accompany his uncle because he was getting married. But of course, he also came back to see Hyo, because he did a lot for him when he was studying, and of course he also wanted to see his friends. Yul feels guilty because after what happened 3 years ago, he walked away from Jang Wook and feels like he abandoned him like he once did with Naksu, who left her in the forest. Also, Dan-gu and Jang Wook are not on good terms. They don't have a relationship like before because Dan-gu blames him for what happened with Naksu, because Naksu was Jang Wook's girlfriend and she was an assassin. There was something very interesting when Yul and his uncle were talking. Yul said that since there is drought the water level has dropped a lot. That's why the men who brought liquor to Choyeon said they didn't know where they were going to get more water to make more liquor. So there is a big drought. Yul said the power was weak. But his uncle said he heard they're going to do a ritual again to fix that, but to do that they need a priestess of Jinyeon. So this means that some important people know of Buyeon's existence, and recognize that she is the only one who can do a ritual to make it rain. Recall that this is very similar to what happened 200 years ago when Solran had to perform a ritual for the same purpose. The detail is that from there came the Ice Stone. We will have to wait to find out what the consequence is if they do a second ritual. As for Go-won and Jang Wook, their relationship is a bit strange. Go-won deep down and knows that adjudicating that he has the king's star power is wrong, yet he has let everyone believe it. Despite his power in the rain, he is envious of Jang Wook because Jang Wook is becoming known as the one who catches all the soul shifters, so he is envious of that. Jang Wook is angry at him because he knows he is hiding Jin-moo, the man who caused the whole crisis. Now what is the famous bracelet that Naksu has? Although we thought it might be part of the Ice Stone or something to keep her from getting petrified, apparently it only works as a GPS so she can track where Buyeon is, at least that's what we know so far. What happened to Jang Wook? After he found out that Naksu drowned in the lake, he became very frustrated and his life turned into complete darkness. He made a grave for her where he frequently goes and remembers her. Jang Wook still hasn't gotten over what happened and uses Naksu's sword in honor of her. He is called the monster who catches other monsters. But why? Because his personality became rude, empty and dark, and that's why people stayed away from him, because they were afraid of him. We should understand that the fear comes because everyone knows that he resurrected, only he didn't become wild because he has the ice stone. Also, people know that he is very powerful. Another problem Jang Wook has is that he can't sleep. We saw in this episode how the wraiths are disturbing him. But why are they doing this? According to the narration, since Jang Wook is using the energy of the heavens, the wraiths are around him to feed on his power. They are noisy, cold, unsightly, and pitiful. And that is the price to pay for having the ice stone and using the energy of the heavens. So this explains why Jang Wook is so disturbed. It's not that he feels unexplained pain from having the ice stone, it's that because of the wraiths, because they want to feed on him. It must be very draining to feel that every night, and that's why he doesn't sleep. That's why he told Park Jin that he wanted to remove the ice stone, even though he knows that if he does he dies. He would rather die than continue living life with that kind of disturbance. However, although this is a very difficult thing, Park Jin realized that what really disturbs him, more than the wraiths, is the remorse of being alive and Naksu being dead. Now, what happened to Naksu? Apparently, the one living in Naksu's body is Buyeon's soul. She lost her memory, but she doesn't know exactly what she lost her memory, she only remembers things about Jinyeon. She found out that her mother wants to leave her forever locked up, and wants her to get married so that she can have a daughter so that she can be the heir. It may be that the information she has in her mind is because Hwang simply told her and she has what they call a false memories. In other words, she doesn't really remember anything, but she says she remembers things about Jinyeon because it was the first thing she heard when she was rescued. In the latest footage, we saw how Buyeon threw a petal into the water and then transported it to another place where Jang Wook was. We might think that she did it thanks to her priestess power, but that way of transporting herself was done by Jang Wook with the ice stone since it is part of the powers that the stone has. That's what she used to enter Hwang's house to catch the soul shifter. Let me know what you liked the most about this chapter. Leave your comments here.